The office door slammed shut behind me, echoing like a gunshot in the empty Film Academy hallway at midnight. I stood there, heart pounding, staring at director James Harlan, the man who'd built this institution from nothing. His eyes locked on mine with an intensity that made my skin crawl. "Alex, I need you to be my boyfriend, for 3 years," he said, his voice steady but laced with desperation, sliding a contract across the desk that promised scholarships, roles in major productions, and a future in Hollywood, all in exchange for pretending to love him. I laughed at first, thinking it was some twisted prank from the guy who'd mentored me through my first screenplay. But James didn't crack a smile. He leaned forward, his silver-streaked hair catching the dim lamplight, and explained. His conservative donors were sniffing around his personal life, questioning why a 50-year-old powerhouse like him was still single, whispering about rumors that could tank the Academy's funding. "It's business, Alex. You're talented, discreet, and you fit the part." Fit the part? I was 22, a broke kid from a small-town Ohio family, scraping by on ramen and dreams of directing my own films. The contract stared back at me, black ink on white paper outlining dates, public appearances, even scripted affection. No real intimacy, just enough to sell the story. My mind raced. Dad's voice echoed in my head, the one from our last call. "Make us proud, son. Don't screw this up." They were devout, church every Sunday, the kind who believed in hard work and traditional values. If they knew I was even considering this. But what choice did I have? Loans were piling up, and James's offer was a lifeline. I signed it that night, my hand shaking, sealing a deal that felt like selling my soul. The next morning, the Academy buzzed with whispers as James introduced me at the faculty brunch as his partner, his arm casually around my shoulder. I forced a smile, feeling eyes on us. Classmates, professors, all piecing together the sudden romance. Ethan, my roommate and closest friend, pulled me aside later. "Dude, what the hell? You and Harlan? That's huge." I shrugged it off with a laugh, but inside, guilt twisted like a knife. This wasn't me. I dated guys before, quietly, but never like this, never for profit. As weeks turned to months, the facade settled in. We attended galas, posed for photos at red carpet events, James's hand in mine feeling strangely natural under the flashbulbs. He was sharp, charismatic, sharing stories of his early struggles in LA, how he'd clawed his way up from nothing. "I see myself in you, Alex," he'd say during late-night strategy sessions in his penthouse office. I'd nod, jotting notes for my scripts, but something shifted. His laughs felt genuine, his touches lingering just a second too long. I caught myself watching him, admiring the way he commanded a room, the vulnerability he hid behind that director's bark. But doubt crept in. Was this real or just the role I was playing? My family called weekly, Mom gushing about how proud they were of my internship with the director. Lies I'd fed them to cover the truth. Dad's questions grew pointed. "Any girls they're catching your eye?" I changed the subject, heart sinking. One evening, after a fundraiser where we danced, awkwardly at first, then fluidly, I confronted him. "Why me, James? There are actors who'd kill for this." He poured whiskey, his back to me. "Because you're not acting, Alex. You're real." His words hung in the air, heavy with unspoken meaning. I left that night confused, the city lights blurring as I walked home. Ethan noticed the change. "You're falling for him, aren't you?" he accused over beer in our dorm. I denied it, but the lie tasted bitter. The contract forbade real emotions. It was all scripted. Yet, as the first year ticked by, the lines blurred. James pushed me into lead roles in student films, critiquing my work with brutal honesty that made me better. In return, I played the doting boyfriend, defending him against snide comments from jealous peers who called it nepotism. But cracks appeared. At a family visit home for Thanksgiving, Dad cornered me in the garage. "Heard some rumors about you and that director. Is it true?" My stomach dropped. I mumbled something about mentorship, but his eyes narrowed. "Don't bring shame on this family, Alex. We're simple folks, God-fearing. That lifestyle, it's not right." I nodded, swallowing the truth, but the weight of his words followed me back to LA. James noticed my distance. "What's eating you?" he asked during a staged dinner date. I confessed bits, family pressure, the fear of being outed. He squeezed my hand. "We'll handle it. Together." For a moment it felt real, but the contract loomed, a reminder that this was temporary. The tension built. A rival director, bitter from past feuds, leaked hints to tabloids. Harlan's young muse? Love or leverage? Photos surfaced, us at events looking too comfortable. Donors called James, demanding clarity. He laughed it off publicly, but privately he paced. "We need to amp it up," he said, suggesting more public affection. I agreed, but resentment simmered. Was I just a prop? That night, alone in my room, I stared at the contract, wondering if I'd traded my integrity for ambition. Ethan warned me, "This could blow up, man. What if your folks find out?" I pushed it down, focusing on my studies, but the internal storm raged. James's world was glamorous, but mine was fracturing. Friends drifting, family suspicions growing. As the year ended, I realized this wasn't just a deal. It was reshaping me, forcing me to confront who I really was. The second year hit like a plot twist in one of James's films. Intense, unpredictable, full of hidden motives. We were deeper into the charade now, attending premieres where Hollywood A-listers clapped us on the back, calling us the power couple. James's Academy thrived. Donations poured in, new programs launched, all thanks to the stable image we'd crafted. But behind closed doors, the pressure mounted. I'd catch him staring at his phone, fielding calls from ex-partners who'd known the real him, closeted for decades to protect his career. "They don't understand," he'd mutter, pouring another drink. I wanted to ask more, but the contract's fine print screamed boundaries. No prying into personal history. My own secrets festered. Back home, Mom sent care packages with Bible verses tucked in, subtle hints about finding the right path. Dad's emails grew curt, questioning my extended stay with the director. I fabricated stories, mentorship retreats, film shoots, but lies piled up like unpaid bills. Ethan, ever the loyal friend, started distancing himself. "It's weird, Alex. You're changing. Is this worth it?" We'd argue in hushed tones in the dorm kitchen, me defending the opportunities James gave me. A starring role in an indie film that won festival buzz, connections to agents. But deep down, I knew he was right. The affection felt less scripted. James's goodnight texts weren't in the contract, nor were the quiet evenings where we'd dissect classic movies, our debates turning into shared silences. One night, after a heated board meeting where donors grilled him about family values, James snapped. We were in his loft, rain pelting the windows. "They want proof we're serious," he said, slamming a folder down. It contained plans for a fake engagement announcement. My jaw dropped. "This is too far." He paced, eyes wild. "You signed up for this, Alex. Don't back out now." Anger flared. "I'm not a puppet." We shouted, words flying like daggers. Me accusing him of using me, him retorting that I was ambitious, willing to bend morals for fame. In the heat, he grabbed my arm, pulling me close, our faces inches apart, breaths mingling. Time froze, then he backed away, apologizing. But that moment lingered, electric, awakening something I'd buried. The fallout was swift. I stormed out, crashing at Ethan's. He listened, then dropped a bomb. "I saw the contract, Alex. You left it open on your laptop." Betrayal hit hard. "Why'd you snoop?" He shrugged. "Worried about you. This is exploitation." We fought, our friendship straining. I returned to James the next day, apologetic, but the dynamic shifted. He was more guarded, I more wary. Yet intimacy crept in. During a weekend getaway, framed as a PR trip, we hiked in the Hollywood Hills, sharing stories. He confessed his youth, coming out to his parents only to be disowned, rebuilding alone. "I built this academy to give kids like you a chance," he said, voice cracking. I shared my fears, Dad's disapproval, the church's judgment. For the first time, it felt like equals, not contractor and boss. But society bit back. A conservative blogger outed us in a scathing post, Film Academy's dirty secret? Director buys young love? Comments flooded. Hate from bigots. Pity from allies. James's phone rang non-stop. Donors pulled funds. He held a press conference, me by his side, declaring our relationship real and private. I nodded along, but inside, panic surged. My family saw it. Dad called, furious. Is this true? You're with a man? An older? God, Alex, what have you done? I tried explaining half-truths about love, but he hung up, disinviting me from Christmas. Mom texted later, praying for you. The isolation crushed me. Friends at school whispered. Some supported, others shunned. Ethan stood by, but our talks turned tense. You chose this over us. James bore the brunt. Board members demanded his resignation, citing moral distraction. He fought back, rallying supporters, but the toll showed. Sleepless nights, weight loss. I comforted him, our roles reversing. One evening, as he broke down, admitting the contract was his cowardice, I held him. No script, just instinct. I'm here, I whispered, but doubt gnawed. Was this love or Stockholm? The year climaxed at a gala where a donor confronted us. This is unnatural, he sneered. James defended me fiercely, but I saw the cost, his reputation crumbling. As we left, hand in hand, I realized the deal's price. My family's love, my authenticity. Yet, in the chaos, a bond formed, fragile but real. The third year loomed, promising more storms. Year 3 unraveled everything we'd built, thread by thread, exposing the raw nerves beneath our fabricated life. The academy teetered on scandal's edge. James poured resources into damage control, hosting diversity panels to counter the backlash. Publicly, we amped the romance, interviews where I'd gush about his support, him praising my talent. But privately, the weight pressed. I'd wake from nightmares of Dad's disappointed face, or worse, James walking away when the contract expired. He noticed my withdrawal. Talk to me, Alex. Over coffee in his office, I confessed the family rift. He sighed. I lost mine too. It gets easier. But it didn't. Letters from home arrived. Mom's pleas to come back to God. Dad's silence deafening. Ethan became my anchor, but even that frayed. He started dating someone openly gay, throwing parties where I'd feel out of place. The contract boyfriend label sticking like gum. Live your truth, man, he'd say, but how? The contract bound me. James pushed boundaries too. During a film shoot I directed, my thesis project, he starred as a favor, our on-set chemistry sparking rumors. Off camera, he'd pull me aside, kisses on the cheek turning to lips brushing mine. This isn't pretend anymore, he admitted one night, stars above the set. My heart raced. What about the deal? He shrugged. Screw it. But fear held me back. Losing the scholarship, the roles, everything. Moral dilemmas piled up. Acclasmate. Mia, approached me teary-eyed. Is he forcing you? I can help. I denied it, but her words echoed. Was this consensual or coercion? James had power. I had none. I confronted him. Did you target me because I'm vulnerable? Hurt flashed in his eyes. No, Alex. It started as business, but you're more. We argued, him revealing his own regrets. Years hiding, marrying a woman briefly to appease society. The divorce scarring him. I don't want that for you. Vulnerability bonded us. But trust wavered. Society's hammer fell harder. A lawsuit from a former employee claimed James favored favorites, implying nepotism. Though dismissed, it fueled media frenzy. Protests outside the academy. Signs reading, "Protect our youth," from conservatives. "Out and proud," from activists demanding transparency. James addressed the crowd, me beside him. Love isn't a scandal. Cheers and booze mixed. That night, exhausted, we collapsed together. His arms around me felt safe, but guilt surged, betraying my family, myself. Home called me back literally. Mom fell ill, stress, the doctor said. I flew to Ohio, contract be damned. Dad met me at the airport, stony. Your mother's heartbroken over your choices. At the hospital, she gripped my hand. Is it true, Alex? With that man? Tears flowed. I nodded, partial truth. I love him. Dad exploded later at home. You're throwing away your soul for Hollywood sin. We yelled, him citing Bible verses. Me defending love's fluidity. It's not a choice, Dad. He stormed out, leaving me shattered. Mom mediated. Give him time. But time was the enemy. The contract's end neared. Back in LA, James welcomed me with open arms, but I was changed, resentful of the secrecy he'd imposed. We could have been real from the start, I accused. He admitted fault. I was scared. Our fights intensified, passion turning toxic. Ethan intervened. End it, Alex, before it destroys you. But ending meant losing everything, career boost, the man I'd grown to care for. A turning point came at a private dinner with donors. One pulled James aside, offering full funding if he straightened up. James refused, outing himself fully. I'm gay, and Alex is my partner. For real. Shock rippled. Donors walked. The Academy's future dimmed. The betrayal hit when I discovered James had extended similar deals before. Whispers from alumni. Confrontation erupted. Was I just another? He denied, but doubt poisoned us. We separated temporarily, me crashing with Ethan. Loneliness clawed. I missed him. Family pressure peaked. Dad emailed an ultimatum. Come home straight, or be cut off. Moral crossroads. Career, love, identity. As months dwindled, I chose confrontation. Meeting James, I demanded truth. He broke. It started fake, but I fell for you. Tears, embraces. But the end loomed, forcing decisions that would scar. The final months were a whirlwind of reckonings. Each day a step toward the contract's expiration date, circled in red on James's calendar. The Academy limped along, budget cuts forcing layoffs. James took the blame, his once commanding presence diminished. I'd see him in meetings, arguing for student programs, his voice hoarse from strain. Guilt ate at me. I'd signed unwillingly, but now the fallout was mutual. We can rewrite this, he said during a rare quiet lunch, his hand over mine. But how? My thesis film premiered to acclaim, agents calling, all thanks to his push. Yet, success tasted hollow without authenticity. Family wounds festered. I called home weekly, Mom's voice weakening. Your father misses you, but pride. Dad refused to talk. Ethan urged therapy. Sort your head, Alex. This mess is trauma. Sessions unearthed layers, internalized homophobia from childhood sermons, ambition clashing with ethics. Was the contract wrong? The therapist asked. I wrestled. It gave opportunities, but at what cost? James attended a session with me, admitting his manipulation. I used power imbalance.
Tirs flawed, forgiveness tentative.
Society's gaze intensified. A documentary crew approached for a behind-the-scenes on gay Hollywood power dynamics, featuring us. James hesitated. I pushed. Time for truth. Filming exposed vulnerabilities. Interviews where I confessed the contract's start. James detailing his closeted pain. Backlash ensued. Online trolls branded me a gold digger, him a predator. Allies rallied, petitions saving some funding. But personal toll mounted. At a rally, a protester shoved me, yelling slurs. James pulled me away, protective fury in his eyes. This is the price, he whispered later, bandaging my scraped hand. Betrayal struck from within. Ethan, in a drunken confession, admitted jealousy. I liked you first, Alex, before him. Shockwaves. Our friendship cracked. He moved out, apologies hollow. Alone. I questioned everything. Had I missed signals? James comforted, but suspicion lingered. Was our bond pure? Moral debates raged internally. Right to hide for survival versus harm of deception. Donors returned conditionally, demanding James step down temporarily. He agreed, naming me interim creative lead. A poison chalice, whispers of favoritism following. As the end neared, tension peaked. A family intervention. Mom flew to LA, Dad on video call. We love you, But this life. Tears, please. I stood firm. This is me. Dad softened slightly. If he's good to you. Progress, fragile. James proposed ending the charade publicly, but I hesitated, fear of losing him. One night, storm raging outside, we argued final terms. When it's over, what then? I demanded. He paused. I want real, but doubt. Was it love or habit? The climax hit at the Academy's annual gala. Contracts last day. Donors watched. Media hovered. James announced his sabbatical, praising me. Then, privately in his office, he tore the contract. Free. Relief washed, but emptiness followed. So, that's it. He pulled me close, whispering regrets. Emotions surged, 3 years of tension boiling. But parting loomed. I left. Heart heavy. Ethan waiting outside. You did it.
Réconciliation tentative.
Post-contract reality bit. No more perks. Auditions flopped without James's name. Family thawed slowly. Dad called, awkward apologies. James traveled. Space agreed upon. Loneliness amplified internal conflicts. Had I compromised too much? Society moved on, but scars remained. A chance meeting at a coffee shop. James, looking rested. Missed you. Coffee turned to dinner, truth spilling. Mutual love admitted. But past haunted. Can we trust this? As bonds mended, awakenings dawned. I directed my first independent short, raw with personal themes. Family visited, meeting James cautiously. Dad shook his hand. Hurt my boy and...
Tentative acceptance.
But the price paid. Lost friends, tarnished rep, inner turmoil. Was it worth it? The story closed on a high note, but shadows lingered. In the aftermath, as the dust settled from 3 years of deception and discovery, life in LA took on a new rhythm. Tentative, raw, like a film in post-production waiting for the final cut. James returned from sabbatical, the Academy stabilizing under shared leadership. We dated openly now, no contracts, just choices made daily amid the chaos. But the echoes of past decisions reverberated. I'd catch myself in mirrors, seeing a man hardened by battles, internal and external. Success came slower without the shortcut. My films gained traction through grit, not nepotism. Agents noted the authenticity. Your work has soul now. Family healing was gradual, a series of small victories. Mom visited first, baking pies in James's kitchen. Conversations turning from awkward to warm. He's kind, she admitted over tea. Dad followed months later. A fishing trip in the hills where words finally flowed. I was scared, son. For you, for us. Tears shed, bridges rebuilt, though church friends' judgments lingered. Not everyone's ready, he said. I nodded, understanding the societal chains that bound him, much like they'd once bound me. Ethan and I reconciled over time, beers in a bar where apologies mended fences. I was jealous, yeah, but happy for you. His own relationship flourished, a reminder that love's paths diverged. Society's scars faded slower. Online remnants of the scandal popped up occasionally, trolls resurrecting old posts, but allies drowned them out. James spoke at conferences, advocating for LGBTQ rights in Hollywood, turning pain into purpose. We hid too long, he'd say, hand in mine, yet moral quandaries persisted. Late nights, we'd debate. Was the contract ethical? It launched me, but exploited vulnerability. James regretted the power dynamic. I should have courted you properly. I countered. I chose it too. The trade-offs, lost innocence, fractured trust, weighted heavy. Awakenings came in waves. Realizing love demanded sacrifice, identity required courage. One evening, as we walked the beach, waves crashing, he stopped. Alex, that contract ended, but us, we're just beginning. His kiss, unscripted, sealed it. Passionate, real, the one that started it all over. But not without final twists. A former donor approached James, offering a comeback deal if he toned down the gay advocacy. He refused, costing opportunities. I stood by, proud but aware of the price. My family faced backlash, 2 church whispers, lost friends. Dad defended us once, a turning point. My son's happiness matters more. As the story of our lives unfolded beyond the academy's lights, the tensions eased, replaced by quiet strength. We built a home, careers intertwining ethically. Yet, the journey's lessons lingered. Betrayals sting, redemptions grind. In the end, love prevailed, but at what cost? The awakenings were profound, embracing truth amid ruins. Was it right to enter a contract that blurred love and ambition, knowing the potential for heartbreak and societal backlash?